perform an ahu moku, that has to be intact still. That has to be instilled in that group so that they follow the same rights that was from the kupunas all the way back. See, and then it's kind of hard when you have ancestral values, right? We all take your kaina, all for Hawaii. We're all one, but in our household, when growing up, we all had one teaching, and that's the malama everything. That was the teaching. And that's all through ancestral learning, right? But when you have a combination of the modern and the wakahiko come together, that's why I see it starts to clash right there. Because the Navakahiko is in us guys that grew up in that manner. We're still here. Because it's our lineage to carry it forward. But when you have new ones that actually been learning the modern way, it's so hard to pull them in together when the outside entity is greater. And, how do you do that?
I don't know. You're asking like a point of philosophy. The future coming.
But it started from a
And the future looks like this. The future looks like this. The environment is out there. It looks like that, right? And sure, we get plenty of native plants, but we get plenty of exotics too. This is what's given to us, right? And the idea is if we can take ahu moku and put those Hawaiian values into ahu moku and organize around the Hawaiian values, the idea is we can bring those Hawaiian values to all of the communities in Hawaii. And we think that will be better than it is.
But we cannot think. We have to say it is going to be. When we think, that is like a tunnel with a light way down there in a small little dot. So we cannot think. We have to say, this is how we're going to approach it, and this is the direction we need to take.
Or it is or it isn't. That's right. Now, I have been kind of working on this ahu moku since 2006. Whew. I thought it was going to happen, right? We still have Hawaii and Lanai never formed their ahu moku council. And the state is saying, we will give you this chance to advise us. If you advise us from your ahu moku councils through your ahu moku advisory committee, you advise us on managing natural resources. The thing about all the island areas is the one department that has the most power in the territories of the state. Department of Land and Natural Resources. The reason they get the power is they get the land for it. In Guam, the Department of Ag has all of the land grants. It's those departments that are the most powerful within that state because it's about the land. It's about alienating the land. It's about taking land out of use. It's about preventing other people from using the land.
How do you say this? How do ahu moku align themselves? There are Hawaiians that live within the state who feel very comfortable being U.S. citizens. But then there's 197 sovereignty groups that are fighting for sovereignty. Who stand for the same cause as all of us. Okay? Are you aligning your judgment call on all of us? These 197 sovereignty groups that have thousands of people, people who align themselves with them throughout the state, or are you just dealing with the state of Hawaii? How are you dealing with
Federal government, state of Hawaii,
Okay.
federal government, state of
The
Hawaii.
state of Hawaii, we have to do all of these things, the 197 sovereignty groups, all the different people in Hawaii, all these organizations, all these different
You don't have a different.
That's
all
all.
want to run their ahu mokus or whatever. That's why they're not coming together on night.
But the ahu moku is based on tradition now. So it's based on the tradition. So there is a real ahu moku. There is a real system of management. And the 197 sovereignty groups, all these other nations, all these different people, that's our reality.
That is the people's voice, but they were spread out right now. We haven't come together.
But it's not a voice. It's not a voice. It's noise.
Yeah, right now it's noise, but we come together, it'll be a voice.
And how do you do that?
How?
How do you
We
do
all come together. We all all just
I
leaders.
understand that. How do you do that?
And we have to, our leaders, these leaders of these various sovereign people, need to come to realization.
Then
That's
how do you
the
get them
only
together?
way it's going to
What do you do to get them together?
Very good time, you have also family you're involved.
Everybody's fighting.
Yes, they're leaders. Yes, they are.
All the leaders
We expect
fighting.
them to be leaders.
Yeah, but
We
they've
don't
been
want them to
fighting.
give up their
They've been
leadership.
fighting for
But we
way,
need to
way
come
long time.
together
The
as a
problem is
couple.
the overthrow of the Hawaiian government. That's the problem. That is the problem.
True.
Okay?
How do you solve that? How
Because
do you fix that kind of
because
stuff
that,
now?
we got this problem today.
Why couldn't we here right now form your own local council? You have that opportunity, what we did tonight. You have the opportunity to form an own local council. Do you want it?
Can you talk to the other 197 or 96 leaders? Do you know every single one?
I do not know every single.
That's hard to do. That's what
I
I'm saying.
understand.
People
It's
are always
well, it's
fighting.
funny though, when Office of Hawaiian Affairs hold a meeting, it's like, wow, they show up.
I would like to hear this question.
All right.
I'm sorry.
So here's my thing with the AHA movement, right? You said that, all right, DLNR has created this thing, this avenue for people to unite, and we're going to give you the chance to advise us, all right? This is what the AHA moku is. This is your advisory thing. But still, you got Isla at the top saying the federal government say no can. Where's the progress?
No, Isla's court said no can. Isla's court, which is the state court. But you gotta understand, you gotta appreciate this. The Ahamoku system that we got in the state, we shoved down their throat. They never liked it. They never liked this to happen. But we went on, we got 99% of the legislature supported this issue. That forced the governor to sign it. The governor was gonna say, I'm gonna let it become law without signing it. That was his protest. But ultimately, with the people going in and talking to the governor, he signed it into law. All these little things, I mean, they seem like small little things.
Yeah, but still, when it comes down to the end of it, I still feel like Isla's going to come down to, oh yeah, advisory this, but federal government supersedes. Oh well, AHA moku there.
But you know, look at
Right.
Isla is it's an appointed position, it's a different time all the time. I thought Bill Payton was pretty good. Yeah? I thought Young, what was his name?
Peter Young.
Peter Young, I thought he was the worst.
But it's not about who it is, it's still the principle that
job.
whoever it is that's going to be a chair of DLNR is still going to say the federal government is telling us this, and this. It doesn't matter what the AHA
Right,
moku is
a lot
going to say.
of it is gonna be who it is. And a lot of it is, you know what, that's true. Federal government don't care about the amount. So if he's saying that, it's not true. But the courts that are making him do it is the Hawaii State Supreme Court. The Hawaii State Court. Yeah.
Did it get challenged to the Supreme Court?
If you wanna take the case to the US Supreme Court, I have had a case go to the US Supreme Court. Yeah?
Did they take that kind of action?
No, you know what they did? They sent it back to the state court. It said, state court, this is your issue, this is your bailiwick. You solve this one.
They've been doing that forever.
They don't, you know why? Because they took responsibility for the Native people when they overthrew the government. They said, because the liberal elements within the federal government were saying, you can't do this, you cannot destroy people, that's genocide. If you kill off the Hawaiians, this is genocide. That's immoral. That's against our Bible, that's against our beliefs. So the federal government said, oh, we will become the trustees for the Native people and we will hold all of their lands in trust. And they never liked it. They never liked it. I mean, understand that. They got the trusteeship, but they never liked it. And you look at what happened to all of them, right? They started out not liking to do that, not wanting to do that. And when we became a state, when we became a territory, they gave it back to the territory and said, it's in your hands. We're going to retain oversight. That gives us the moral high ground.
So but they still in control no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
what we'd like to see? I would like to see when you guys come out of the Kona airport, you're going to Waikoloa Beach side. You're now entering the reservation of the United States of America. And while you're on this reservation, you will abide by the law, the Constitution, the law of the Constitution of the United States of America.
And these are
When
great
you come
ideas.
outside, you are now entering the sovereign kingdom of the Hawaiian nation.
And these are great
While you
ideas.
abide by our law.
And these are great
what we
ideas.
say.
These are great ideas. But
That's
what
the way
more?
it should be.
But what
We're
more?
not a nation within their nation, they're a nation within our
Right.
nation.
And how do you convince them of that?
But they already know it.
Right. How do you gotta shove it down.
Well, they already know that. With the apology bill and everything, they already know that.
The apology
They're
resolution,
in our
yeah, okay.
space.
Yeah.
Now they trying to make us a nation within their nation. No, they're in our nation.
So how do you be
These
effective?
are-
How do you be effective in what you're doing?
Come together as one voice and speak as a nation.
I've been hearing,
Council advisors,
I've been hearing that for so long. Everybody come together, but people gotta put in work.
Now we have something to write on. And we can find a resolution and a solution to all of these problems that the United States government has, and we will as well with them. But until that happens, it's the cart in front of the horse to me.
What's the blueprint for solidarity and for unification of all the islands to the Moku? I mean, do you guys have one, or are you still trying to work it out? I mean, because...
The federal government has nothing to do with.
Well, I'm not asking about the federal government. I'm asking about the program itself.
That came out, the blueprint for Homeland Sovereignty that came out, I guess, in the 90s. There have always been some kind of initiative. The whole idea is trying to get the Hawaiian people to gather around one idea. And that's a double-edged sword too. Because you gotta look at it. They hold the trust. They have all of our lands in trust. What they're looking for and what OHA was created for and wasn't able to do is a guy that they can deal with and take it all away. That's the end game for the lands here. All the lands are held in trust. Goes back to 1895. All the lands are held in trust. Now, all these lands belong to us as the descendants of the kingdom. For them to take it, because, and then Keanu was, oh, he left. Keanu was exactly right, yeah? Because what gives you good title is that you can trace the chain of ownership of each title, of each piece of land, back to when that title was created. So Keanu had a good case, and he took it before the World Parliament. I didn't want to deal with those kinds of issues in this meeting, but we can talk about it. When they took it to that permanent court of arbitration, who's the enforcer for the permanent court? The U.S. So if they get something done in the permanent court, they have to go to the U.S. and say, look, this is what we found, you go enforce it. And the U.S. is going to say, I get back to you. And what that is, and you got to look at that because this is all aggression. All aggression. What that is, waiting for the right time, is the biological solution. What is the biological solution?
No more Hawaii.
No more Hawaiian. That's the biological.
That's what they're waiting for.
Right.
That's why they create the role.
They thought that the Hawaiians would die out, they don't need to worry about the Hawaiians.
Right.
But guess what? They didn't prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Hawaiians started.
And you know why we can do that?
No, it's in the face.
You know why we can do that? Because it was the actions of our people. They never resist. They would fall onto the morality of the U.S. and said, we're going to fall onto your justice system to deliver justice to us. Because if when the Marines from the USS Boston came ashore and we fired on them, we were smearing on the islands. Admiral Thomas came down, took his commission. Right? Paulette came in and he saw this island with no army, no protection, and he said, you know what, I claim this. I claim this island for the British Kingdom. And at that time, the Pacific was a battleground for the Europeans. You had the Spanish in the Pacific, you had the Dutch, you had the Germans, you had the English. They were all in the Pacific, they're all grabbing what? Colonies. All grabbing colonies. They've taken values out of these colonies and sending them back home.
England was against colonization. McKinley was pro-colonization.
That's right. Cleveland lost the election.
He lost the election, and McKinley, he pulled up.
But this is that complex history we're in. But the motives are always the same. The motives are always the same. Is to disinherit Native Hawaiians from their land, because this land, at first they thought this land wasn't valuable at all. This land was like, never had nothing, right? No more coal, no more gold, no more oil, no more sheep, no more cattle. This land never had nothing.
Their biggest attempt to disinherit was, there's a generation or two, when we go back into our genealogy, there's a generation or two that's missing. I think they cut that thing, so we would not have that inheritance and such. You go to the Parker Ranch Museum, they got a PaPa inside the museum that says, oh, the Parker Ranch deeded by King David Kalakaua. This is a deed title from the king. But you go see Uncle Abel, he owns the same title.
Right.
But they don't recognize
Right.
his, but they recognize that.
And then when you get to a court of permanent arbitration, who is the enforcer?
The United States.
Right.
You're aware of that. That's
So
why
how are you going to do it? And one of the ways I think you can do it is you lock up the resources. When they had making the Department of Hawaiian Homelands whole, because when they did the inventory, it's supposed to have 250,000 acres of land in the Department of Hawaiian Homelands inventory. Only had like 193,000. So they said, okay, Waihee was a governor. He tried his best. You know, he's fighting with that 800-pound gorilla. He said, we're going to make that trust whole. We're going to add in lands to make it 250,000 acres, right? And then when I got involved with that commission that was deciding on lands, I wanted to put in all the lands that the sources of water derive from. Because in the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act, there's a section that says water is derived on Hawaiian homelands. Hawaiian homesteaders have the first rights of refusal to that. If we were able to do that, we would have controlled the development. But they're smarter than I thought. They saw the action immediately. And what they did was they gave them commercial lands in Guam.
Washington State, there's what they know as the Aquavella water rights of the Native Americans in Washington State. When we bought our land in Broadwood, Washington, when they shipped northern exposure, it was on our title and deed. It said, oh, you have, beware of this. Aquavella water rights belong to the Native Americans. I said, well, what does that mean? They said, well, this is an arbitration in court. You could lose when this one goes through your water rights to this entire area. Your house will not have any water coming to you whatsoever because it belongs to the Native Americans. Bottom line was, the realtor said, don't worry about it. This has been in court forever. Right. It's not going anywhere.
Right. You can win, but can you enforce the win? That's another issue. I mean, it's great. We can talk about, oh, let's go to the court of arbitration. Let's do this. Okay, you make a win. Who's going to enforce the win?
The United States. And if they don't recognize
So,
that law,
what we have to do is, that's all the noise that's around us. That's all the detritus that's around us. That's all the aggression and attacks coming toward us. What we get with the Ahamoku system, I think, is we get that opportunity to coalesce around whatever your organization is, the 197 sovereign organizations. If you endorse the Ahamoku, that one gets the power. And this may fail. I don't know. I've been in it a long time, since Kalama Valley. Yeah. I sued the Department of Hawaiian Homelands and I won. One had us have to settle for $600 million. I wanted $1.2 billion. Settle for $600 million. How did they get us $600 million off? $30 million a year for 20 years to the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. This is in the last year. Out of that $600 million, what has Hawaiian Homes been able to do for the beneficiaries? And that's how they do it. And you can get the win. And how you're going to enforce it, that's another issue. One of the ways that I thought we could do is, if it's going to be $600 million, then you know what? We float one bond for $550 million, and we get the full amount. Hawaiian Home Commission didn't want to do that. Because in 20 years, we will pay off that bond. In 20 years, everybody can get the full value on that bond. But what can we do with $600 million for the benefit of the Native Hawaiians at one time? They didn't want to do it. So there you go. It takes skill, courage, and desire to do so. And even that don't guarantee that it gets done. Even the Ahamoku, there's no guarantee of it. But we still get the responsibility. Legal still gave us the responsibility. We cannot abrogate that responsibility. We cannot say, oh, you know what, I give up. We cannot do that. We still have the responsibility. And for me, that's what this is all about. This is about that responsibility. And yeah, I will take federal money to do that. I will take state money to do that. I
I will take money out of my pocket to do that.
I think a lot of the people that had walked out tonight made a point in regards to, I think, the idea of compromise. I think that's the word. Compromise with the entity that governs what we like Ron and Uncle Sam believes is just a rubber stamp, for you know what I mean? You have created within a system that is occupying an independent nation, and I think that's the reason why we have a lot of them that walked out. And because they have for years, and the ones that did walk out were Renaissance leaders that have been in the churches for 40 years, in the face of government, in the face of, who've gotten arrested to try to make a difference in the movement. Some went to, in that time frame of 1979 all the way to now, we've had within the last 20 years, people that went into the sovereignty movement. From the Renaissance, in the trenches, in their face, for change. And then there was a quiet time because we have a lot of people that went into the sovereignty movement. Now, I think the frustration they have is the fact that we continuously chasing to put out fires. And one thing that one of the Renaissance leaders had told me was, Terry, the issues are still the same. Now, the issues are still the same because what do? There's two issues. Do we play within the realm of our ethics? You have organizations that have been fighting within that, with the idea of the state and what the Constitution, Article 12, Section 7, are traditional, customary, spiritual practices, which is a right and which is a law within the entity. But then you have people like LHG, Lawful Hawaiian Government, and maybe the 100 that says it's part of PaPa. And I've heard them say that. It's part of PaPa, meaning I can use them to wipe my phone with. Because they're not going to recognize it.
Right.
They're not going to honor it. So we have Kanai Olabalu. Okay, we have the Apaka Bill that have all these different entities that have been created within a system, right? That gives them more power and buffer as they continue to put out fires. That's what we continue to see. Now, I sit in conversation with people that will just say, Terry, if you're going to talk to me about the Constitution, I don't even hear it. Because it's null and void in our kingdom. So we have my daughter over here going, this is what? Crazy. We got a young girl that wants to hear from our kupuna. She says, Mom, this is crazy. What did you say? This is unreal. This is her first time sitting with our kupuna, walking out. Our kupuna not giving a chance to moku to go and explain what you're all about. What do we do?
What?
What do we do? And if it is beneficial, to our people, how? How are you going to be helpful to that, knowing that we have a large percentage of our people that will walk out like this? You know what I mean? Because to them it's null and void. And then to us, we want answers now as to how we're going to help someone that was just got arrested by DLNR for teaching the traditions to their young child.
Right.
Now this couple came to my coffee shop 3 weeks ago and said, Anthony, remember you telling me that you were fighting for Hawaiian people fishing, the fishing ban. Well, my husband is home feeling kind of like, distressed because he was charged by Department of Land and Natural Resources for experience. And what he was doing was teaching his child what he was taught by his grandparents to subsistence gather. And he was just teaching them how to do what they entered. No, I mean, but what I'm saying is that the rules were put in place. And it's still our right as a subsistence gatherer to be able to feed our family that we were taught how to do for hundreds of years and ancestral memory. Now, this young man was trying to teach the son how to do what his father taught him. And he was told, you gotta go caught now. So he came here to ask for help. Because how come I'm only doing what I was taught by my father to take care of my family. Now I cannot. Now I've created a crowd. To him. And the children scared now. They're scared to go fish.
Can our moku
And they're scared
can
to
our
fish.
moku protect that boy? No.
I don't know. I don't
That's
think
what I'm
so.
saying.
Not now. Not now.
And not now. So what we want to know is, pertinently, what is it that our families, like my children, can continue to do? Oh, we know it's a right, don't we? State Constitution, Article 12, Section 7. He can state his right, but why he gotta go and do that when we should already know that's our right? We shouldn't have to go through that. Our children shouldn't have to go through that.
People already know.
It is already known as law.
And the United States government should
And
recognize.
that's part of the way that they impose their will on the community.
We
And he may get away with it.
That's
He may
why
go to
the
court.
poodle's walking out.
And the court may recognize his right.
That's why they walked out.
That's why they walk out.
Because,
And they're gonna walk out of every meeting
Right.
that does that to them.
exactly.
But they will not bow down to that federal government. They will not.
They're not going, they're
No
going to
matter
keep
what.
walking out
Right.
until we can say, you're going to stand up and stop compromising our traditions. Now, they're using the word traditional, customary, spiritual practice. What is that? Now, Bill Isla, I spoke him straight in his face. Bill, who makes the decisions? Who makes the decisions to pass bonzies, okay, findings of no significant impact, yeah? For the fencing and keeping our people out from subsistence gathering, eradicating our pig, we have no say. Eradicating the sheep on Mauna Kea, who made the decision to say it was okay, that it's our right to do something that is our right already? Who in that process, you know what I'm saying? Sam Don, Board of Land and Natural Resources. Now, is Sam Don Hawaiian? Who does he work for? Nature Conservancy? That's what I found out. He works for Nature Conservancy, he's not Hawaiian, and he doesn't practice the traditional, customary, spiritual practice.
How can a
How
guy
the
that
hell
has
is
been
he
to us?
there making the decision for us?
You cannot.
You cannot.
He
Right.
cannot. He
Cannot do
is
this.
not qualified. He is not qualified to make that decision. So why do we allow it?
Why is he in that position? Why is he in that position?
Why is he
No
in that
credibility.
position?
Misrepresentation.
How long has that John been making decisions for our people? Passing bonzies, eradicating our pig, if it is my spiritual practice, my ceremony that they're eradicating. Now, why do we allow this to happen?
This is about nothing. They know nothing about custom tradition. Brenda Ford, her own voice. She knows nothing of Hawaiian custom tradition. Yet she making law.
How can we change it?
Exactly. You challenge them. You do not compromise. You challenge them at the spot. Who wrote the criteria and qualifications for you to sit there? You know what he told me? Legislation.
Rally on the
Legislation
people.
made the criteria and qualifications for that person to sit down and talk to
The
me.
laws are already.
So why don't we challenge that?
You guys are in a position to make that right. See?
Right?
Look around here. Let me look back at you guys are paying me.
So I
These
said-
laws already.
So we move it up to we find out, now who's in the legislation who's passing this legislation?
So who wrote the criteria? You know, Bill told me.
Who is up there doing the decision
Legislation
for us?
is writing this. The people is supposed to be writing this for us, right? We the people for the people, not administration.
But every year, if you're not in the legislature, if you're not following what's going along, every year you have legislation that chips away at your rights.
Okay, so because we're not there with money to go over there and fly, who is our representative to make sure that we will be there and knowledgeable about what's going on?
Maybe you guys are appointed for that position.
We cannot testify. Under my job, we cannot testify.
Right? Okay,
I can quit my job and testify, but then I'd be out of a job. Then there'll be less opportunity for me to be there.
I got your back.
In the days of the past, was the king, then became his high priest, then became his advisor, his noble.
It's as simple as that. I got your back.
Council of chiefs from every district throughout the entire kingdom.
But-
The people had to say something, they told their chiefs. The chiefs brought it to the council brought it to the nobles, advisors, all up. And then it was.
Problem with that, the system will
That
recognize
system.
that.
That's the way that.
The system works.
So you know,
Right, and it's not a vote. The system works if it's like, in other islands that I've seen, for you to become a chief, you serve.
Sir, there's a key word.
There's a measure. And you cannot rise up to a higher level of chief without service and proving your service.
Our issues are all the same when it comes down to our traditional customary practices and spirituality. It doesn't say, not my name, okay? I'm not saying that, what it states in law is that it's a traditional customary spiritual practice. It doesn't say it's a traditional customary Christian Buddhist practice. It doesn't say that. It's very specific. So why are they using that law, okay, that law, to encompass everything and pass all of our funds? To say that, you know, it's okay, it's all right, you know, it's all the same issue. In our burial council, why do they have the landowner and the developer on the burial council? Right? Why are they there? They have no interest for the best interest of our people. They go move them. So they have two votes, right? Two votes of people that are making decisions to move. Now, how many do you have? Quorum? If you get one, okay, quorum. You get, now, if you get 5 more people that are Christians, that don't understand our traditional, customary, spiritual practice, they go vote, okay, who? The exact same example. You have Christians that say, hey, our traditions don't work here. This is our place. This is our Christian place. Now, that's what I'm saying. Do you compromise one to go and allow the other? Or do you support the idea that this encompasses all our rights everywhere? You cannot pick and choose one and say, I'm going to help develop this one and I'm not going this one.
The burial council all came about because of that federal law that was created, Native American protection and repatriation. And in that act, instead of what we intended when we testified for that act, and we put this act through the Congress, was that when bones are found, that there was a process to leave it in place. But as it went through the legislation, it changed it, so there were burial councils created in Hawaii. It's different in other places. Yeah? So it's interpretation of that law and the willingness to enforce the intent of that law. In Hawaii, once they draw it, once they say, okay, here's a bones, they draw it on the map, they can move it and build.
And you know where that ended up? The three
Yeah.
houses.
But that was not the intent. That was not the intent, but that shows you the motivation of that system. It's benign, but it's benign and aggressive. Shows you the motivation of that system to disinherit us from the land. When we talk about rights, the rights in the court of law is considered like, it's like a bundle of sticks that you carry around with you as a native person. And if they can do anything so that you give up one of those sticks, they win. And through time, your bundle gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you have just these few rights left. And that's the intent. So, how do you prevent that? I don't know.
You
I
gotta
don't
come
know,
up with
it's,
something.
you gotta fight them, you gotta fight them. But if you fight them, they will put you in jail. They will put you in jail.
There's one voice. And when we speak, there's one voice. That bundle of sticks came together. Together as one.
And together it's strong, yeah, it's possible.
You can't bustle. Then we are come to and speak to you. Then we can talk. Now when you say, I want to talk about fishing, guess what? We have this gentleman over here. He's been appointed by the Hawaiian people to be the voice of the Hawaiian people to talk to you about fishing. You will report to the council, and he'll report to the chief of this island and say, hey, this is where we stand. This is what we came up with. This is the resolution. And that's the way it will work. But to come in and grasp knowledge from common people, from royal families, from sovereignty groups, it's not working. It's not because everybody's the government. We all know this. We all know this. We all know this. We know that we gotta come together, and it's the time is now. But Office of Hawaiian Affairs meeting here, well, there's so much. I understand where you guys come from. I understand where they come from. Everybody understands where everybody comes from. But it's kind of like the carnival. We gotta come together as one, and then we can speak to these folks and let you know how we feel, where we need to go. For our hail, for our eating, for our fishing, for our hunting lots, for our gathering rights, everything. It will be a simple process when we have everybody on the same page, and we can now sit down. And I want to see a representative of Hawaiian cities, every city council meeting, every government meeting, DLNR. So when you talk and all these people, we don't know what they're talking about. Guess what? Could you explain this to us, what this means to your people? And there's a voice speaking for us. And Governor Abercrombie talked to me. They said, we come together as one. Guess what? The United States will recognize our people.
And they will listen. In Maui, what they've done is they have a resolution between the Maui County Board to recognize the Ahamo Moku, so they have a voice. So they're working in their way, and it works with that Ahamo Moku system, that Ahamo Moku Council on Maui. So they have a resolution, and right now the mayor is saying, I like this, yeah? Let's pass this resolution, let's get somebody on Ahamo. Another mayor may not say that.
It's working on Maui
It's working on Maui, yeah.
because of leadership. You guys have a representative here that's representing everybody in this room. Yeah. You represented everybody in this room and everybody that left.
This is your local.
Maybe she should be the one.
Why is she not here?
I cannot explain it.
We're not gonna,
This is your.
she's been in charge, she's appointed. She represents the entire island. What have you brought up to her to tell to the governor? Do you guys even know?
Who put her in?
You don't even know who she is.
The legislature did, she had to be approved by the Senate.
Now, this has been going on this all for this island has been going on for 3 years. Trying to get organized, trying to get something. And nothing happened. I just
We're not
got
going to organize this island because this island is grassroots. You will not tolerate that.
Right.
And this Wahine does not come down and address us. She stays in Honolulu. Why? She's supposed to be here, addressing us. Okay, so why is she not here? Even though if she not to be here, why is she not here? That's exactly what we said something about.
This is her
You
meeting.
two guys take the time out to come down, right?
But you know what, you guys, it should be everybody, it belongs to everybody. Tell her, hey, listen, it belongs to everybody. Everybody.
This is your island.
This is everybody.
Flowing to your
How do we get that information on who she is and how do we talk to her?
We'll get that information to you so you guys can address her.
Yeah.
Let her know your
Why
concern.
should you two guys take this slack when she's
Right,
the one
why is she not
putting
here?
it also?
Because I care.
You guys came here on good intention.
And
Good
that means she
intention.
don't care?
We understand that, and we appreciate
That
that.
Oh.
means she don't care.
I know I care.
I know.
This is important.
It's important. It's important. You know,
I'm 62, I gotta pass it on.
Okay, she's
I
been,
gotta pass it on to the young.
she's been invited, but she's
You gotta
not.
know that she was missing in this meeting, and we concerned about it. We wanna know why.
We'll see her. Find out what she is, talk to her.